Hi, and welcome to Moonbeam Connections. I'm Jacqui-Leigh. Today, things aren't going well. No, they're fine. First world problems. On Into the Shadows, we're going to pull a shadow card from our deck and see what shadow aspect of ourselves Spirit wants us to work on or heal or acknowledge, or the one just wants to illuminate. Hey, there's this over here. Maybe you should take a look at it. All right, so let's see what shadow aspect Spirit wants us to look at. And as always, I do set the intention that these videos find those who need them when they need them. So if it did find you, that means it is meant for you. It just might not be the whole thing is meant for you. It might just be part. Okay, and I had one fall on the floor. So let me find it. Ooh, we had this one recently. Okay, so wholeness includes cracks. So if you've seen my other video, you might be back again. So really what this is saying is that, it's not about being perfect, right? This is, look at this, imperfection, tenderness, humanity. So this is about not being perfect. Nobody's perfect. We can't be perfect, right? And that the cracks, right, where you're broken, where that crack is actually what can make you beautiful. And I said this in the other video too, and of course I haven't looked it up, but I believe it's a Chinese proverb, or, whatever. I don't know the word for it. Sorry, I'm not great at the English language, even though it's the only one I speak. But it's about that a vase or a vase or a bowl that has been broken and then glued back together is actually more beautiful than one that is perfect, right? Because they come off the assembly line. They're perfect. It's not unique. It's not original. So those cracks are actually what help make it more beautiful, right? It makes it unique. It makes it individual. And so that's what this is about too, is that your cracks aren't making you less of a person, less worthy, somebody that people wouldn't like to be around, right? That your cracks are actually what gives you your character, gives you your personality, gives those things that, people do want to be around. It's not, I'm just going to be stuffy and I'm going to sit here all perfect and I'm always going to say the perfect words and I'm, just everything's fine. I'm just perfectly you see those people who are like, they dress a little bit different and you're like, oh, but they have a style to them, right? Like that's their style. And so those cracks, they do help you to be more beautiful, right? So you can think of it as you went through a traumatic event. And so because of the trauma you had in your childhood, you're actually now very emotionally intelligent. So that crack from your childhood is actually making you more beautiful, right? More well-rounded, let's say more intelligent, more knowledgeable, because you now have a higher emotional intelligence than others who did not have that trauma, right? Their childhood was perfect. It was all roses and shiny and great. And so they don't have the emotional IQ that you do, right? They don't understand when you're like, well, that's going to upset them. And they're like, why would that upset them? I don't see that. And you're like, oh my gosh, but it's so obvious. Why would it not upset them? And it's because you've got that emotional IQ, right? It can be for a variety of things. It can be that, you had addiction issues, right? Like, oh, there's a crack. I got addicted to stuff. I was maybe even living on the streets for a while. But now that I'm sober, now that I've healed that and I've repaired that, I've glued that part of me back together to fix it. Now, all of a sudden, I have all this experience in addiction recovery. I understand where people are coming from. I understand, what's going to encourage someone to go into rehab and what's going to discourage someone to go into rehab. You as a former drug addict actually have better experience, more knowledge, and would better be able to help people who are now currently drug addicts than somebody who's never been a drug addict, even if they went to school. I went to school, let's say for, university, I went for 8 years to find out the best things on drug rehab and and that's always great, right? That's always great. But when you take theory and then you apply it, into the real world, things don't always work. People are messy, right? And it may work perfectly with these type of people. Oh, this is working perfectly. But then you get this type of people, and I was like, no, this type of people here, this therapy actually makes their drug use way worse. It's not even helping, right? And so you have that practical experience, that practical knowledge, that insider knowledge, probably that stop and start, right? So I tried this way and it didn't work. I tried that way and it didn't work. I did this and this is what was so horrible. That way actually would have been good if I'd had this support or if I had had that thing. And so all I'm saying is here, because you get cracks, these cracks give you knowledge. They give you experience. They give you something that other people don't have, right? Other people without the same cracks as you aren't as knowledgeable in those areas about those things as you are. And I always say, getting stuff wrong, okay, I hate to be wrong. Everybody hates to be wrong, right? But when I get something wrong, I always try and look at it as, oh, perfect. I ain't never getting that wrong again, right? Because I got it wrong, and that does affect me, now that I've got that wrong, I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. So that will not be something I get wrong again, right? And so you have this crack, you did something that made this crack, or it could even be someone did something to you that gave you this crack, but now you know, right? And maybe I had this childhood trauma and it cracked me. It was bad. I didn't like it, but I've healed that, and now I am not going to pass that crack on to the next generation. Right? Whereas other people, they end up giving their children the crack. They may end up traumatizing their kids, either because they didn't heal it or for whatever reason, they don't think it's a big deal, right? But now you have that knowledge, and so now your children, you'll protect them from having that crack. Although they'll have their own cracks, because they all do. Nobody gets out of childhood unscathed, that's for sure. Okay, so let's see some advice for you on how to come to terms, I guess. Let's do that. Advice on how to come to terms with your cracks, right? And this isn't about I need to put things together again. We're back together. We've got the cracks all glued back together. This really is sort of about your feelings about your cracks. Oh, I've got this scar from when, my ex ended up cutting me. Okay, that's an ugly scar. You don't like the scar, but you can also look at it as, I got that scar. That was my crack that I've now healed, and it's my what do you want to call it? Like determination, but that's not the word I'm saying. That I got out of that situation though, right? I have this battle wound, I have this scar, and that scar is going to be my reminder of where I was so that I can see where I've come. And I'm going to use that scar as, look at what I've been through, look at what's happened to me. But I was able and strong enough to get out of that situation and to build this life over here. And that scar is going to be my badge of honor of, this is where I came from. This is, when I got this scar, that was my badge that I am moving on. I've accomplished this. I've learned all I need to know from this situation, and I'm going to create a better life for myself. Right? I know it's hard to look at things that way. Nobody likes imperfections, but why can't I just be perfect? Why can't I have the crack but put it back perfectly? Because that's not how it works. And you don't get the lessons putting things back perfectly. Right? Cracks are cracks for a reason. Oh, whoa, okay. That went flying on the floor. Okay, let's see. So how can we, so we got a reverse 10 of cups. So this is about broken home, having disconnection between people, right? Cups are emotions, feelings, relationships. So you're feeling disconnected or feeling misaligned, having these shattered dreams, a broken family, could be domestic situation. So it's just not like, this way is family life, friendships, emotions. They're great. We feel fulfilled. We feel great about it. And when you flip it this way, it's like things are not good. There's this disconnection. I don't feel fulfilled by my relationships. And so we're looking at how to heal these cracks. You don't feel fulfilled by your relationships. We may need to get new relationships here, actually. Oh, I can't believe there's only 2 cards on the table and we're almost at 10. And that's the truth. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is cutting to the truth, cutting to the clarity, being honest, being independent. Independence, okay? So look at this. We feel like we're disconnected. We come from a broken home, right? Like there's your crack there, emotional crack, broken home, broken relationships, whatever it is. And the Queen of Swords is you're cutting through. You're getting that clarity. You're being honest about things. You're being independent. Yes, these relationships are broken and we're independently walking away from it. We're independently seeing the honesty within these relationships, seeing the clarity. If this is a relationship you're currently in, like your partnership, and you're like, this is just damaging me, this is not a good partnership, right? I don't feel connected, I don't feel this is healthy, I feel misaligned. The Queen of Swords is saying, yeah, you see the truth, right? You see the truth of this situation and you are going to be independent. You are going to do your own thing. And so that's what's going to help heal your cracks, actually, is to be independent, see the clarity of those cracks, see what that is. So yes, you, whatever, putting me down because I don't clean enough, that is, you're creating this crack. And I can see that with great clarity that you are creating this crack. And so if you walk away, let's say independently, you're going to go independently, so it can be walking away from family members, and it doesn't have to be completely walking away, right? It's just understanding that this relationship is not a relationship that will bring fulfillment, that will bring peace in my life, right? So say this is a parent that's caused these cracks in you, and you're like, well, I'm not going to completely cut them off. That's not what this necessarily has to be. It's, okay, I'm only going to talk to you on the phone. I'm only going to see you once a year at Christmas. And so we're going to have a very superficial relationship. We're going to keep you in, but I am going to walk away independently. I have clarity in what this relationship really is, and I'm willing to keep a relationship, but I am also going to have boundaries on that relationship. Okay, let's see some advice for you in terms of like how you're moving forward, I guess. Well, independently, but ooh, okay, feeling left out in the cold. Wow, this reading is almost like another one I recently did. I think we got the Queen of Swords and the Five of Pentacles in that one. Okay, so this can be about like hardship, loss, feeling isolated, right? You feel like you lack something, you're worried, you feel like poverty. Now, since it is the Pentacles, we can look at it as a being a bit more like if you go into this independence, say this is a parent, say you're even still living at home. Say you could even be 40 and you're living with your parent because you need to help support them, right? But you need to walk away. You need to see the clarity that this living together situation is not healthy. And so I'm going to see that clarity and I'm going to walk away and be independent. And it ends up feeling like, a hardship, a loss. I'm lacking that mother child relationship. I'm lacking that father-child relationship, right? So it can definitely feel like lack. Like, why do other people get this and I don't get this? But everybody has different relationships in their life, right? Some people have great relationships with the parents, some people don't. Some people have that grandmother who is absolutely perfect and some people don't. And so I think it's understanding that you may feel like you're being left out in the cold. This person may feel like you're leaving them out in the cold. But there is relief, right? And that's what you need to understand. So although this card looks harsh, they're out in the snow, they don't even have shoes on, I don't think. And they're, in poverty and they need help, but they're also walking right past a church and they could easily go in it, right? They could walk in the door. So there is this relief here. You just need to be able to see it. Right? You need to see there's relief. So if this is an individual that you're still with that's still causing you issues and you're like, there's just never going to be relief, right? Like, I'm never going to get away from my mother. How can I do that? There is relief. You just need to look at it differently. Instead of just walking by where there's relief, you need to be like, no, I'm going to turn towards that relief. So if your mother's and you are living together, it's like, well, I could put her in a home. She's not going to like it. She's going to feel isolated. But I know that that's what's this truth is, that this is what's going to help me heal this crack. This is what's going to make me be better, do better, feel better, be at peace. This is what we're trying to find. Peace, 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 peace. Please, 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 please. That's what we want. Okay, I'm going to get a message for you. So I've got my Oracle message deck, which is just a deck with a series of messages on it. That's all it is. There's pictures kind of, but it's mainly just words. So we'll see what message about this reading for you. And I think we should get you a animal too, since we're dealing with our cracks and trying to feel whole, even though we've got these cracks. Ooh, I think that's more than one. Yes, it is. Let's see. First one. Clear your mental and physical clutter. You will feel so much better, okay? So this is, right, independence. Clear your physical and mental clutter. So physically, you're near somebody who's causing cracks, you need to clear that away, right? Or if in your head you're always thinking about my cracks or what caused the cracks, we need to get that clarity. So whether that's through, cleaning your house, changing your living situation, right? Going off independently, or going to therapy, we need to start sort of clearing out that extra clutter, that clutter that says we're not good enough, that clutter that, gets in the way of what we're trying to accomplish, that sort of thing. The extra stuff in your life that you don't really need, that's probably impeding your life in some way. Either, if your house is very cluttery, you can never find anything, or it depresses you when you come home. If your mind is cluttery, it's hard to think of other things. It's hard to pursue your career or, the advancements, learning, education, anything that requires mental effort. If you're mentally cluttered, it can be very hard to focus on things, right? To focus on something because you've got 100 other things going through your brain, 100 other things you're thinking about. Wow. And the last one is give me your inner critique. Give your inner critique a vacation day. Okay. Be kind to yourself. See, look at this. Inner critique, mental clutter, inner critique, mental clutter, right? And this is clutter cutting through to find the truth. Okay? This mental clutter, this inner critic says you're not good enough. Cut through to the truth. You are good enough. Cut through that was that person who gave me that crack, that reason that caused that crack. That's on them. That's not on me. I was a child, or I was doing nothing wrong, or whatever it is, right? I was being a good person and they cheated on me. That's on them. That's not on you that somebody else cheated on you. That's telling you what type of person they are. It doesn't say anything about you. It just says you're a good person who isn't an a-hole, right? They're the a-hole. And so understand. So give your inner critic a break, or right? Give them the day off. Tell them to go away, right? Tell them they're left out in the cold. Be kind to yourself. Don't create your own cracks for yourself, right? Don't tell yourself you're not good. Clear that mental clutter. Get down to what the real truth is. And the real truth is you're a good person who's just trying to make it through life with all these imperfections that give you skills, ability, knowledge other people don't have. And this can be used as you push forward. And I want to get you an animal, spirit animal, for you, because I think this is an appropriate reading, or appropriate reading to do it for. So as you move forward and you gain your power, you declutter your mind, declutter your life, get rid of that critic and tell them I don't need you anymore. You can go live in someone else's head. And let's see what spirit. Ooh, we got two. Okay, let's see. Ooh, we got the wolf and the humpback whale. So the humpback whale is a singer. So sing healing songs for the world. Your inner navigation always guides you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. Okay, so sing healing songs into the world, right? So start decluttering your mind and start, like, you've got these scars, but because of those scars, you have knowledge that you can start bringing healing into the world, right? And you know this internally. You have the mental clarity to cut through and find that truth, right? Nothing can stop you and keep you from your goals. There's nothing. You can do it. And then we have the last one, which is the wolf, which is the pathfinder. Release your past. Look at that. Release your past, right? Release that mental clutter. Release your past, and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. Look at this. You have this knowledge because of this crack, so you can help other people fix their cracks, right? This is the path. This is the way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. Okay, so this is a beautiful message. I love this. You are a teacher and help others find their way. Like, that's exactly what I've been talking about, that these cracks are creating a knowledge within you. And whether you actually use that, like I was a drug addict and now I'm a drug counselor, right? If you use it that directly, or if you just use it as, I had this experience, I'm now emotionally intelligent because of it, so I use my emotional intelligence within my relationships, or help me navigate some of those relationships that you can't get away from, whether they're work colleagues or family, but I have this repertoire, and that's going to help me, down my path. So you do have this, and I can use that to help others understand, right? Like, when mom's crazy, I can be like to my brother, hey, this is what's going on because she's like this, right? Like, so understand it's not because of you, it's because of her, right? So those kind of things. So definitely focus on your cracks as giving you skills and knowledge that will help on your path, and cut down to the truth. Realize, where why it's helping you, like where you've gained something, but also where it's not helping you, and release that, whether that's through, talking to friends, whether that's just meditating, whether that's going to therapy. Help reduce that clutter, help get rid of that inner critic, because the inner critic doesn't belong there. There's enough other people that are criticizing us that we can just be happy in who we are and not have to criticize ourselves. I hope this message helped you today. I'm sending you peace, love, and happiness. Bye for now.